on Staten Island the year that Wu-Tang dropped 36 Chambers. So you can imagine that was the epicenter of the world at that moment. That summer with the Craig Mack the Flavoring Year remix. And so people had to flock to New York to make it.
I would say this though, even in the beginning of hip hop, yes, it was born in the Bronx technically, but Harlem made it hot, Queens made it rich, Brooklyn gave it flavor, Staten Island gave you Wu-Tang, and the first record wouldn't have hit if it wasn't for Sylvia and them in New Jersey across the bridge in Teaneck that brought you Rapper's Delight from the Sugar Hill Gang. And then you got to take into account Philly, you know, DJ Lady Love and some of the other folks. It's technically a northeastern thing. So it's hard to just say, oh, it started in the Bronx. But if it was just stayed in the Bronx, it would have never gotten to where it was without the people that played in all those other boroughs and outlanding areas. And that's the
JT
story
Thompson
we have
is
to
here
tell.
with us. So now you have the vision. You guys are rocking and rolling. The death of Tupac, the death of Big. It derails it from a business standpoint. What do? Do you keep it? You keep the idea alive. You keep moving along. And when do you start looking up saying, okay, it's 2019, we might have something here? Or how do you keep it alive during those years?
Man, you're probably one of the first people who ask that intelligent question, which a lot of people read about in my book when it comes out. But you got to understand, we were trying to bring back the show every single year. But when you have to tap into Hollywood, then you got to tap into New York. And then you got people's personalities that's interacting. You mentioned what it was, the dichotomy between Bad Boy and Death Row at that time. Can you imagine what it's like being in the middle trying to speak to both sides about peace?
You're talking in different languages. You're talking to people with different languages.
Yes, totally different metaphors, metaphysics, and street characteristics. And some believe some and some don't believe the other. But the reality was, shit was real, okay, on both sides. Sure. You know what I mean? So people underestimated a whole lot. So to ask how we did that, I said we did the Black College Battle of the Bands. We did the Black Divine Nine Step shows in Atlanta. We did the Black College Football Classics. We did Legends and Icon shows. We did everything we could trying to position ourselves when hip hop would make that turn. Thank goodness for my boy Master P. You know, shout out to the whole Bay Area, E42 Short, Master P, all the other folks out there. I executive produced the Who Riders album. That's how I learned the independent game. We got $8 a CD for every $10 sold on our own label out the trunk. So when I came back to New York, I was probably a little bit more sharper than a lot of the folks that was already on the ground as far as New York goes, as far as independent hip hop. Just like independent film, we did films as well. So I say that to say, Jay-Z was slept on in 96. Master P had 20 album covers. He didn't have the records done yet, but he knew where he was going from a vision standpoint to keep those things coming. So when you look at us, we knew when we come back, we wasn't coming back with just a TV show. We was coming back with the museum, the award show, and we was going to come back with a brand that was going to be able to not only preserve, but also be a major content influencer in this genre, where we are today, by the way. And it took 2 years to negotiate the land deal. Just to let you know how, when you're talking about building something that's an $800 million building, right? And when you talk about something like that, and you're talking to different people in hip hop, they don't understand that language. They're like, man, JT, you taking too long. What's going on? I'm like, guys, do you know what it takes to go to do this and to own it? And then not have all of the support, because if we all put our money together, not just in hip hop, but in sports and business as a community, our economic viability as far as sustainability, creating our own economic centers, whether you're in the DMV, whether you're in New York, Atlanta, LA, Oakland, Las Vegas, Detroit, wherever you are, we can own and control our mini economic system the way they have a Chinatown, or the way they have a Little Italy, or the way they have other certain communities, which is great. We just need to get to the point where we can deliver that type of education, training, and access to capital, whereas we can help our young people be those entrepreneurs, be those folks behind the scenes in tech, be those folks in high power positions like the Black women are moving today, and executives and opportunity with diversity, and all the money said that was going to African Americans. We need to follow up on that and pull that money together into what we're talking about now.
One of Mike ESPN Richmond, that's where we are, 106.1, best business radio program around. We got the visionary man behind the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. So exactly where is that going to be located in Harlem?
Well, the actual Hip Hop Hall of Fame Museum, hotel, residential, entertainment complex is going to be in Midtown Manhattan, adjacent to Times Square. It's part of the new infrastructure and revitalization project slated for New York City, and a new transportation piece as well. The infrastructure bill is going to be passed soon. The actual space that we're opening up in Harlem right now is called the Hip Hop Hall of Fame's Cafe and Museum Gallery, a fully interactive exhibition, VR, AR experience of hip hop history, hands-on training for young people and kids to come in and learn, because you know music is science. Memorabilia, everything, covering everything from the Northeast, which includes Philly, by the way, to the DMV, all the way to the East Coast, but also bringing in the other regions of hip hop, their stories into this particular space. It's about 15,000 square feet. So we'll have our own concert venue, our own esports arcade, and that doubles as an educational and tech center, where we're going to teach coding and robotics. And that's what we're about. Everything that we have, yes, we're here. We're having your Wu-Tang Killer French fries, your Biggie burgers, your Tupac steaks, right? And your Cardi B strawberry cheesecake, and your Meg Thee Stallion chocolate mousse cake, whatever the case is. That's all great. And we're going to celebrate that through food, including some healthy choice options as well, but training people on how to become in the restaurant and hospitality business. Same thing with the museum piece. Our educational program is already in 100 schools.